Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to our session, our class in Agriculture 1. So, we are actually now still under Unit 2, which is branches of agriculture, and we have done the introduction or classification, subcrop science, and origin of agricultural crops. And I think I just have to finish some few slides here before we proceed with animal science. No? So to start with, for the just to finish, I think we stopped from here. Now the origin and domestication of rice. So last time we discussed about where and what were the different theories in terms of origins of this particular crops. So with rice sativa or rice, since it's a semi-aquatic grass that grows erect, and of course we have known that this is a principal cereal, and in fact it's a major staple food of Southeast Asia that includes China from historically where it is first discovered, and India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, Japan, and Thailand were the major producers in Southeast Asia. And also in India, it was domesticated 4,000 years ago from a very wild species of Oryza perennis. And also Oryza glaberrima. It's an African rice from the swampy headwaters of the Niger River in West Africa. No? So it's not only from Southeast Asia, but also in India and Africa. So I think this is just, wait now. Yeah. And also we have peanuts, no, from South America. It was also introduced into Africa along with bananas and forms large part of people's diet already as of the present. And also we have coconut or under the palms of subfamily Cucoideae, closely related to Cucus nacifera. And the Northwest South America, the center of diversity, specifically the Papua New Guinea or in Fiji region of the South Pacific, dispersed widely before its domestication. And we also have bananas, no? This actually originated in Southeast Asia, spreading to India, Africa, and finally tropical America. And we also have citrus, domesticated in drier tropics of Southeast Asia. Now it's cultivated actually more extensively in the subtropics with Mediterranean climate. And of course, we have mango, originated in the India, Bangladesh, Burma region, and has spread into cultivation and common use in the Indian subcontinent about 2,000 years ago. So we have beans, snapgreen, and lima beans, which are very native to tropical America. And scientifically, Physalis vulgaris is the most widely grown of the 4 cultivated species of the Physalis and the most important grain legume for human consumption around the world. We also have eggplant, also known as egg fruit or aubergine or Guinea squash. This is native to South and Eastern Asia, but also grown in China for many centuries. No, and that's quite surprising, maybe. And it's also domesticated in India, where wild plants now grow and spread throughout the warm tropics. So we also have chrysanthemum. It is native to China and was brought to Europe by 1789 by Captain Blanchard Marsilius. So that's very surprising. And carnation is also indigenous to the Mediterranean area, which was cultivated more than 2,000 years ago. Native by the Yanthus, or the Greek word for means divine flower, which began in 16th century. So perpetual flowering race, which gave rise to American types, was developed in France in 1840. We also have rose, is also native to northern temperate zone. Earliest record of a rose is of the Damascene rose, a natural hybrid between Rosa gallica. And lastly, we have pygmies or negritos from Central Asia. They're actually not agriculturists, no. This is actually the origin of Philippine agriculture in in a capsule. So usually our original, natives were pygmies or negritos from Central Asia, and these are usually not agricultures because they were food hunters and fishermen and gathering only wild fruits. And we call this crude agriculture when kaingin started, also known as the shifting cultivation or the slash and burn or Sweden-like practice by Indonesians from Southeastern Asia. So this was the start of agriculture in the Philippines. And agriculture was then the main industry in the pre-Spanish Philippines. So that is just the capsule of the Philippine agriculture as a whole. And after that, you have to answer your quizzes. So I guess that's all for origin of agriculture crafts. So let's move on to the history of animal science industry. So for the history of animal science industry, early domestication of animals actually began, as we have discussed earlier in the previous lessons, 10,000 years ago, beginning with dogs. And ruminants that include cattle, sheep, and goats were the first food animals to be domesticated, followed by pigs, and possibly to dispose of table scraps and waste products. And horses and cattle were domesticated primarily for transportation and draft work purposes. While early people found animals that form large herds or flocks and eat a wide variety of feeds are easier to domesticate. So, domestication involves more than simply taming, no? Or yung pag-aamo sa kanila. Animals are considered to be domesticated when they are kept for a distant purpose, no? For example, for companion, for protection, and for food. And human controls their breeding, no? If we interfere with their breeding program, their survival depends on humans. For example, like in the present, we have dogs, we have cats, who is under our mercy for feeding. And they develop traits that are not found in the wild, like for example, they are able to understand some signs or symbols that we have trained for them. Okay, and domestication also allowed humans to contain animals with the right temperament. So like for example, we have wild dogs, we have wild cats, and because of domesticating them, we were able to train them properly according to our standards, and have a steady food supply, of course, and use animals for, as I have said, companionship, religious purpose, and draft work. So in return, the animals receive protection and a constant food supply. And we do selective breeding, as humans got rid of animals with undesirable traits, not allowing them to reproduce. For example, if they have some like unnecessary characters for food production, then we only choose those who have very desirable characters. Okay, and which of these animals was domesticated first again? So is it the cattle, the goats, the pigs, sheep, horses, chicken, turkeys? So what was your guess? So you can also prepare a presentation about animal you have and why you have domesticated them. So, and you can also share that in our group chat, Okay, we have next. Sorry for that. So sheep actually was perhaps were domesticated 11,000 to 15,000 years ago. So it might be the first, and domesticated in the mountains of the Southeast Europe and Central Southwest Asia. So this areas include the countries of Greece, Kazakhstan, Turkey, Hungary, Uzbekistan, Syria, Yugoslavia, Turkmenistan, Iraq, Romania, Tajikistan, Bulgaria, Afghanistan, and Iran. So in this Mediterranean area. And they are favorable because of their wool and meat for which they are still used and bred today. Because of selective breeding for traits and other results of domestication, sheep are the only species of livestock that would be unable to return the wild. No? And for cattle naman, it has been domesticated 10,000 to 15,000 years ago. Almost same with sheep, but sheep was earlier. And it was domesticated near the boundary of Europe and Asia or Southwest Asia. So this includes the countries of Russia, Turkey, Ukraine, Syria, Moldavia, Turkmenistan, and Iran and Iraq. So they were used in the beginning mainly for meat, milk, and labor. So I'm sorry for that. Let me just refresh it. Sorry for that. So let's just continue. There might be something with okay, so but eventually were practiced by horses in most of the draft work. So next we have pigs, which was domesticated 5,000 to 9,000 years ago. And they were first domesticated in the Middle East or Mesopotamia and in countries such as Syria, Iraq, and Turkey, and then spread across Asia, Europe, and Africa. So they were utilized more in settled farming communities than in nomadic groups because they are difficult to move for long distances. So goats was among the earliest animals also to be domesticated around 6,000 to 7,000 BC in Western Asia, and this could easily revert to its wild state. While chickens were known in China more than 3,400 years ago, and also in Southeast Asia like China, Laos, and Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, and Burma. Also, turkey is the only North American domestic animal domesticated in the Middle North America. So, you can use the notes. We just draw a simple timeline in your worksheets to illustrate which animals were domesticated. So, like this, no? So, sheep first, cattle, goats, pigs, and so you can have a drop like this to actually remember them properly. Okay, so animal husbandry is the art of working with farm animals, where animal science is the scientific study of farm animals, while biology is the study of life that seeks to provide an understanding of the natural world. So that's how we define the specific terms. And animal science involves a lot of sciences, actually, that includes genetics, embryology, zoology, botany, agronomy, anatomy, physiology, chemistry, nutrition, pathology, parasitology, entomology, bacteriology, economics, computer science, ethology, ecology, even communications, finance, political science, law, engineering, and microbiology. So, in US, the history of animal agriculture started when Columbus brought livestock to the West Indies in 1493, and then cattle and sheep to Mexico by Cortes in 1519, and 1539 horses and hogs to Florida. In 1641, in Massachusetts was first the meat packer exporting salt pork. In 1760, in England, they began breeding animals for the purpose of creating different types. So we don't have much data for Philippines and other countries. So US have enough data for that. So let's just have a look. So in 1861 to 65, because of the Civil War, there were railroads decreased, and there were need for horses and mules for stock to be raised where they are consumed, and Refrigeration and boxcars allowed shipping of carcasses to population centers. So now animals could be raised in one place, sold in another, and consumed at yet another. Sorry for that. And when there were changing tastes, beef became also most popular. Before the war, pork was the most popular meat, mainly due to the ease of the storage. And the beef became most popular meat after the war naman because of refrigeration. So there were times, there come a time like that, and in 1862 there was a so-called Land Grant Act, provides public lands for university to teach agriculture at this point, and Hatch Act established experiment station in 1872, while Smith Liver Act established cooperative extension service in 1914. And food, Newton and Chevron are eaten by more people than any other meat. And beef is eaten in larger quantities than any other meat as well. So certain religions restrict beef and pork consumption, like the Hindus, they do not eat beef. Muslim, Hindu, and Orthodox Jews do not eat pork as well. So many people eat horse meat, goats, ewes, cattle, mares, sows, llamas, camels, reindeer, and yaks provide milk and milk products. So animal contribution in society in terms of clothing includes wool, hair, hides, or the leather, pelts, and have commonly been used for clothing. Even today, more than 100 countries already use ruminant fibers such as the hair and wool for the manufacture of clothing, bedding, housing, and carpets. So we are really making use of our animal products. And also for shelter, hair and hides provide material for shelter. For example, hides are used in teepees, while hair is used in plaster, horsehair plaster, and as tools. Early man relied on bones and hides for tools actually, for slicing, for cultivating the soils, and many more. And also for utensils, bladders, horns, catgut, and dynamite are animal products that are commonly used. For personal items as well, we use humans use animals products and byproducts for jewelry and perfume. Okay, and we have power as contribution to society. Animals have been very important throughout history for draft work, and packing and transporting. In the 1920s, more than 25 million horses were used primarily for draft purpose. And today, in developing countries, animals provide as much as 99% of the power used in agriculture, while 20% of the world's population depend on animals for moving goods. In India, for instance, they have more than 200 million cattle and buffalo, but because cattle are sacred in India, they are not slaughtered for meat, and these animals are used to provide only for power for field work. And that's very different in Philippine setting. Now, since we do not use cattle for draft purposes, instead we use buffaloes or carabaos, and beef meat is one of the expensive meat we have in the Philippines. So we have in war, animals were used in war for transportation and power, and for some religions, some societies worship animals. And for recreation, companionship, and hobbies or sports, such as horseback riding. And for health as well, we use laboratory animals for research, miniature pigs for laboratory research, because they closely resemble humans in their pulmonary, cardiac, dental, and even prenatal brain development. We also use cattle and sheep for testing artificial organs before using humans, and also animal products and byproducts in pharmaceuticals. So we have the placenta soap, for example. Okay, so we also have common terms used in animals. So I hope you're gonna read this one and familiarize. We have abomasome. It is the fourth compartment or true stomach of the ruminant animal. We have artificial insemination. It's the placing of sperm in the female reproductive tract by other than natural means. We have bitch, an adult female dog, and boar, an adult uncastrated male pig used for breeding. We also have baby calf, a male calf about 1 week old. The Bos indicus is the scientific name of the hemp cattle found in tropical countries. Bos taurus is also the domestic cattle originating from either the Uterus or the Celtic shorthorn. We also have bovine. It's a generic name for cattle. Breed is a group of animals with distinct shapes and colors which produce offspring with similar shapes and colors. And we have breeding bull or stud bull, an adult male used for breeding. And we also have broken mouth, a mouth having teeth missing, usually applied to sheep or goats and occurs with old age. Browse is the shoots, twigs, and leaves of brush plants found in growing on rangeland. And browse is a fodder obtained from eating leaves of twigs and bushes. And buck is a male of such species such as goat, deer, rabbits, and others. And buck is the intact mature male goat. Buckling is an intact immature male goat. Buffalo or buffalo bull calf is a male young one, and a buffalo calf is a young one of either sex, and buffalo heifer calf is a female young one. Bull is a male of bovine of any age that has not been castrated yet. Bull calf is a male young under 1 year of age. Buller is a female which is always in heat or estrus, also known as the nymphomanic animal. So kahit animals, may mga maniac din, ano? They're always in heat or estrus, so they're called buller. And bullock or steer, an adult castrated male used for carting or tillage. So we have a lot of terms here that please be familiarized with. We have Berdizo, an instrument used for bloodless castration, which clamps off the tissue connecting the testes to the rest of the body. Calf is the beef animal under 1 year of age. Calf is a young bovine of either sex, and calving is the act of giving birth to young one. Calving interval is the length of time from one calving to the next. Cannibalism is the act of eating another member of the same species. And capon is a male chicken whose reproductive organs have been removed or rendered inactive while the individual is still young. Caponization is a process in which the testes are removed from the adult male, and this is done to make a good table bird for eating purposes. Carcass is the dressed body of the animal or dead animal. Carpet is the wool or coarse wool used for making carrots. And carrying capacity is the number of animals that can be grazed on a pasture during the grazing season. Cast is to make the animal fall on the ground. Castrate is to remove the testes of the male or to render them inactive. Alternatively, an animal whose testes have been removed or rendered inactive. Cattle is the animals of the family bovine, genus Bos. And chavon is the meat from goats. Colostrum is the milk produced in the first few days of parturition, and it's very nutritious. Concentrate is the feed containing less than 18% crude fiber. Then when dry, and grains and protein supplements are concentrates. Conception rate is the percentage of a group of animals that become pregnant when bred. Cow is the female bovine that has had more calves than an older female that has not had calf but has matured. Crib is an enclosure to which only the young of the species have access to. They may be fed separately from the adult stock. So we have a lot actually, no? And so we have to read them one by one. Crib feed is used to provide special feed for the young, or the feed provided for the young within a special enclosure. Crisscrossing is the mating of crossbred females to a sire belonging to one of the saan na ba ako? Sorry, may binasa kasi akong message. So again, It's the mating of crossbred females to a sire belonging to one of the parents' breeds of the female, also called backcrossing. So crone is an old broken-mouthed ewe which has been retained in the breeding flock because of her excellent breeding performance. Cod in ruminants is a ball-like mess of feed that is brought up from the stomach to be chewed. And dam is the mother of an animal. Dead weight is the weight of an animal after it has been slaughtered and offal, head, and hide removed. The horn is used to remove chemically or mechanically the horns of the livestock. Julep is the hanging fold of skin under the neck of animals, especially some of the breeds cattle and goats. This bud is used to remove or prevent growth of the horn buds in young livestock. Dock is used to remove all part of the tail. Doe is a female of those species in which the male is called a buck. For example, goats, deers, rabbits. Doe is a female goat, rabbit, or antelope. Double rig. Both the testicles are retained in the abdomen. It's also known as for double ridging or cryptochloroid. And draft animal is an animal used for pulling loads. Drench is the medicine in a liquid form administered to the animal through the mouth. Illustrator is an instrument as well, used to place strong rubber bands over the scrotum or tail for castration or docking respectively. Estrus is the time during which the female will accept the male for copulation, also referred to as being in heat. And ewe is a female sheep or lamb. Ewe is a mature female sheep. Ewe lamb is a female young one. And so much more here. Wait lang. Okay, we have feed efficiency. It's a ratio of units of feed needed per 1 unit of production. Feeder calf is a weaned calf that is under 1 year of age and is sold to be fed for more growth. Fertilization is the union of a sperm cell with an egg cell. Fleece is the total wool coat of a sheep. Flock is a group of animals, sheep, goats, and birds, flashing and increasing the amount of feed to an animal for a short period of time, usually just prior to breeding. So we have free martin. When twin calves of different sexes are born, the bull calf is usually sexually normal, but the heifer calf is always sterile, and the external genitalia are abnormal in structure. Gymmer is a female sheep which is between 1 and 2 shearing. Goatling is a female goat over 1 year but not exceeding 2 years of age. Haylage is the low moisture grass silage. And he buffalo is an adult male buffalo. Heifer is a female bovine that has not had a calf or has not matured as a cow. Heterosis is improvement in the offspring resulting from favorable combinations of the gene pair, sometimes called hybrid vigor. And inbreeding is the mating of related animals. Kid is the goat under 1 year of age. Kidding is the act of giving birth to a young one. Lamb is the young sheep. Lambing is the act of giving birth to a young one. Livestock means stocks that are live and are used for production of items for commercial and for domestic consumption. So the term livestock includes all animals, birds, and all living creatures used for producing items for the use of men. The term livestock production, animal production is used to indicate the farm animal production. Mohair is the fleece of the Angora goat. Ovulation is the release of the egg cell from the ovary. So these are all actually arranged based on alphabetical. No, ovum is just like the egg. Parturition is the act of giving birth. Pedigree is the record of the ancestors of an animal. Pelleting is the grinding of feed into small particles and then forming it into a small hard form called pellet. And phenotype is the physical appearance of an animal. Placenta in mammals, the structure by which the fetus is nourished in the uterus. Fold is not having horns. Puberty is the age at which sexual maturity is reached. Rumlum is a male young one, and adult male sheep used for breeding, rum or top. And rectum is the last part of the large intestine. Rumen is the first and largest compartment of the ruminant animal stomach. And we say repeatability in dairy cattle, a measure of the confidence that can be placed on the predicted difference being true measure of a bull's ability transmit genetic characteristic. Reproduction is the production of offspring. Roughage is the feed containing more than 18% crude fiber when dry. Examples are the hay, silage, and pasture. Ruminant is an animal that has stomach divided into several compartments. For example, the cattle, sheep, and goats. Rumination in ruminants is the process of chewing the cud. Scrotum is the sac-like part of the male reproductive system outside the body cavity that contains the testicles and the epididymis. Semen is the mixture of the seminal and prostate fluid and the sperm. Shearing, removal of wool. She buffalo, an adult female buffalo. And slink calf is an aborted calf. And steer is the male bovine animal that was castrated before reaching sexual maturity. So we're almost there, no? Teat is the outlet of milk produced in the udder. Testicles is the male organs that produce sperm cells. Testosterone is the male hormone that controls the traits of the male, and other is the male producing gland of mammals such as cows. Urine is the liquid waste collected in the bladder. Uterus is the part of the female reproductive system where the fetus grows, also called the womb. And veal is the calves younger than 3 months of age sold for slaughter. Wattle is the projection of skin hanging from the chin or throat, especially in poultry and some breeds of goats. Wether is an adult castrated male sheep. Yearling is a horse over 1 year and under 2 years of age. Yearling bull is an uncastrated male between 1 and 2 years. And lastly, yield or yield is a barren, non-lactating animal. So we also have zoological classification of livestocks where they belong to the different kingdom, phylum, class, subclass, order, and suborder, family, genus, and species. For example, we have between zebu cattle and exotic. So they all belong to Animalia, from buffalo, goat, sheep, and they all belong to phylum Chordata, class Mammalia, subclass Eutheria, order Ongulata, suborder Artiodactyla, family Bovidae, and for goat, Capridae, sheep, Ovidae, and Suidae for pig. And for the genus and species which comprises their scientific name, for cattle we have Bus indicus for zebu cattle and exotic cattle Bus taurus, and for buffalo Bubalus bubalis, for goat Capra hircus, for sheep Ovis aris, and for pig Sus domesticus. And lastly, finally, we have the different animal husbandry terms in terms of ano yung mga tawag ng mga animals, no? In terms of species, group of animals, adult male or adult female. So for cattle, the whole species is called bovine, same with buffalo, or they're called bovine or bobalin. And for sheep, ovine, for goat, caprine, and for pig, swine. So as a group of animals, they are called herd. For cattle and buffalo, for sheep, they are flock and goat or hen and or band, and for pig, they're called drove or herd or stock. So the adult male cattle is bull, then buffalo bull for buffalo, and ram or top for sheep, and buck for goat, and boar for pig. While the adult female for cattle is cow, she buffalo or buffalo cow for buffalo, ewe for sheep, and doe for goat, and sow for pig. The young male is bull calf, while the young females are heifer calf for cattle, and buffalo bull calf and buffalo heifer calf for buffalo, and ram lamb or top lamb for sheep, and ewe lamb or gimmer lamb for female sheep, and buckling or male kid for young male goat, and goatling for young female goat, boarding for young female pig, and gilt for young female pig. While the newly born cattle is calf, buffalo calf for buffalo, lamb for sheep, goat for kid for goat, and piglet or pigling for pig. And castrated male cattle is bullock or steer, buffalo bullock for buffalo, wether for sheep, and castrated for goat, hog or stag or barrow for pig. Sterilized female is called spayed in cattle, as well as buffalo sheep, for goat and pig. While female with its offspring is called coupled food for cattle and buffalo, suckling for sheep, goat, and pig. The act of parturition and panganganak is calving for cattle and buffalo, lambing for sheep, and kidding for goat, and farrowing for pig. And while the act of mating is called serving for cattle and buffalo, tapping for sheep, and serving for goat, and coupling for pig. And when they cry, it's called bellowing for cattle and buffalo, bleating for sheep and goat, and grunting for pig. And its number of chromosomes are actually 60 for cattle, 50 for buffalo, 58 for sheep, and 60 for goat, and the list is pig, which is 38. So I guess that's all, and you have to answer the quizzes here. So thank you very much for watching this recorded video. And I know you have told me that you are busy for this session for tonight. So but next week, next meeting, I hope to see you again. So thank you. If you have questions and clarification, please just chat me.